Rishi Sunak treated a press team to thrilling visuals, a trip to the North Sea. And still, the first question, yet again, is it all over?
When you look at the numbers, that it's not going to happen.
There's still 2.5 weeks to go in this election. I'm fighting hard for every vote because I believe we can win.
While Rishi Sunak was trying to play down his Defence Secretary admitting defeat, Labour's team was in Southampton docks trying to woo the port workforce.
Have you any plans to improve the relationship with the EU?
We think the deal we've got is botched. It's not good enough.
Today's Financial Times claims Rachel Reeves wants to rework parts of Boris Johnson's Brexit agreement to get better access for sectors like chemicals in return for aligning with or following EU rules.
We're not going to go back into the single market.
No, but might you do it sector, by stealth?
No, and I don't think that those sorts of offers are on the table, frankly.
Saying that you're not going back into Europe, is it a slightly easier, less emotional thing for you to say? Have you always been a bit more Euro-agnostic?
Well, I represent a Leave voting constituency, and that does have an impact on my politics and where I come from.
That coolness towards the European project, not uncommon on the traditional Labour right, the wing of the party to which Rachel Reeves has always belonged.
She says I was the first member of Parliament that she met.
John Speller epitomises that traditional Labour right. Retired after 42 years in the Commons, he's been clearing out an office that never truly entered the digital age.
She's actually a bit like you, old traditional right of the Labour Party.
I would just say Labour. Labour Party wins when it's actually in the centre ground, when it's looking after the interests of ordinary people, focused on their concerns and not on exotic causes, and also strong on stability and law and order at home, and strong on security abroad.
That's where you've always been, and you think she's there as well.
And that certainly is my view.
I'm not all about isms. I'm about making things better in people's lived lives, in their daily lives.
You find certain elements of the Labour Party over the years that get absorbed by certain causes a little tiresome.
I do find it a little tiresome, and it's a luxury that, to be honest, most working people cannot afford.
Rachel Reeves began her day in the City of London talking to city investors. She began her career on the Bank of England graduate course. A contemporary remembers her economics sounded like his own.
Absolutely orthodox. Orthodox is a very good word to describe what I saw of Rachel Reeves's economics.
Don't borrow too much, don't spend too much, steady as she goes down the middle.
Well, you don't go to work for the Bank of England unless you think economic stability matters, right?
Me and Matthew Hancock were in the same graduate intake at the Bank of England. We've gone on to do slightly different things these days. He's in the jungle, and I'm hoping to become Chancellor of the Exchequer. But look, I do believe that economic stability is number one priority.
Rachel was pretty much straight down the line on economics, but by God, she got a fire in her belly when you started talking about education. I remember Rachel making incredibly radical arguments, for instance, about private schools. Why should they exist at all?
I'm not sure if his recollection is altogether accurate, but I do think that it is right.
You don't like them at all?
It is. I do think it is right, given the parlous state of our state schools, that we apply VAT and business rates to private schools.
It's quite visceral for you, though, isn't it? It makes your skin crawl, private schools.
What is visceral for me is seeing the wasted potential of kids from working class families who never have the chance to realise their potential.
The Tories warned Labour could be in power for a generation, a message aimed at those still in large numbers who say they don't know who to vote for.
I am terrified of my future and the cost of living just going up and up and up. So how can you convince me that that's not going to be the case under a Labour government?
It will take time. If I stand here and say to you the day after the election I've got a wand in my pocket and I can wave it and you'll be fine, you wouldn't believe me and it wouldn't be true.
She left the gathering still undecided.
I need somebody that's going to, champion the hard-working public and be for the future of this, this wonderful UK that we live in.
You might stick with the the government that's there, you're not sure.
It's a possibility. It's all very uncertain at the moment for me.
We've lost everyone now.
The Tories today warned of an unaccountable Labour majority. Their messaging suggests they know power is passing to a new team, and they're focused on stemming the hemorrhage of support.